So the first thing we're going to do once we've opened our image is we're going to use the quick selection tool to select our subject, so the person in it. We're then going to copy that and paste it, so Control C, Control V to make multiple copies of your subject without that background layer. Once you have got that, obviously I'm just moving it down a bit there, you will then go up to the threshold tool, so image adjustments threshold, and you will change each of the layers, with the top layer being the lightest, so with the least black on it, and then going down that scale, the lower down you go on your layers tab. I forgot to turn off the top layer here, so you won't actually see this next one be darker, but as you go through the sped up ones, you will then see that the subsequent ones are darker. So one second, I'll turn the layer off now. There you go. And you can see they are different levels of lightness. From there, I then want to go to my filter gallery and click on the palette knife. It's already selected there. And I'm just going to adjust it to make it look a bit more like a vector graphic. So stroke size I put up to about 22 and stroke detail down to 1. And you can see it just looks softer, a bit rounder. And that is the desired effect. That's what we want. And I want that on all layers. Now the problem is it does take a little bit of time to render. So I click OK, and then we've got to wait for ages for it to apply that to that layer. We'll repeat that, as I said, on every layer. So again, I'm just repeating it by pressing that button at the top. It just repeats the same thing I've done with exactly the same settings. And here it is sped up. And that's every layer getting done right now. Now from there I want to change my background colour, so I'm going to use the same colours as Shepard Fairey. So you can see here I'm putting in the code, which is FBDE8E. That will be down in the comments in the description for you, so you can copy those codes. Once I've done that, I want to then go to select colour range, click on the white and delete the white layer because I don't want that white layer. Open up a new document. I've just gone for a 5 centimeter by 5 centimeter canvas here, and I've just pulled my rulers from down here. So you just go there, click, and then it should lock automatically to halfway. Then I will go on to my rectangle tool. I've got this blue selected that I'm using for the Shepard Fairey portrait, and I'm just doing that. I will then do a new layer, select my yellow, and repeat that for the top. All I do now is go up to edit, go to, oh no, I don't want to do that yet. I need to select the marquee tool first, select the whole canvas, then go to edit, then go to define pattern, name it if you want to, okay, and then when I'm clicked on my portrait, for example, when I need to do it, all I have to do is double click, go to pattern overlay, and there's my pattern. I then obviously adjust this as needed. I had it on about 5 when I did mine, but with this one you might want to go smaller. There, 1 seems to be perfect. I'm now going to apply that pattern overlay, so just by double clicking on the bottom layer that I want to use, put the scale quite down low. You'll probably need to go down to like 1, and it will give you this nice kind of liney textured effect. Then you just literally go through the layers and put the colours you need on top of them. Now I like to lock my layers, so you'll see on some of them I will click the little kind of checkered pattern just above my layers, and again for each one I'm removing the white part of the layer, so I'm getting rid of the white, so whatever's underneath will show through, so you can still see that pattern overlay on the lower layer. As you can see here, I'm putting the blue down. Again, all these colours will be down in the description for you. So all you have to do is double click on the colours in that bottom left corner, and it'll open up the kind of colour bit, and all you'll need to do then is at the bottom is put in that code. So here I am just finishing up, just adding all those layers in. Any areas that don't get covered, here you go, here's an example of me using the layer lock. I just lock it and it will only colour those bits that I want it to colour, the bits that are actually part of the illustration. Again, getting rid of the white. So select colour range, click on the white, click OK, and it will automatically select that white. I just backspace to delete it. And then this gets coloured dark blue. I've locked that layer already. I'll use my paint bucket tool. See there, the hex code at the bottom. And then for those little bits, I'm getting the paintbrush and I'm just going to cover them up. Now that isn't the end. So I've just sped this bit up, as all I'm doing really is adjusting the size. You're going to want to make it a bit smaller because obviously Shepard Fairey's work has got the borders around it as well. I then use my rectangle tool once I put my guides in. This helps me just make an extended block at the bottom for the text. Now these guides here are going to help me with my background. Luckily they lock into place, so they lock to the sides of my portrait, but also that one in the middle always locks directly on the middle of the canvas. You can see here that I've put that bottom layer in, well, the bottom part of the image at the top, because obviously it needs to go over the portrait. That is where I'm going to put the text eventually. Now this here is where I realised that I needed a bottom layer to stay yellow, because I'm going to put a background in of red and blue, and obviously I don't want that to then show through those little white or blank bits on the portrait there. So I'm grateful to myself for leaving a spare one. I then shrink that down to size so it matches with the other images, and then I lock that layer and I just apply that same yellow to it, and there we go. So now when I put my background layers in, it's not going to be a problem. It's not going to show through. So to do the background layers, again, all I do is I pick my colours, I go down to my rectangle. So I've gone for the blue there, go all the way down to the rectangle, and my guides there tell me how wide it needs to be. And then I just do the same on the red once I make a new layer. And there is the main part of the illustration completed. From here, I then want to add my text. So again, I'll do a new layer. Again, make sure this is at the top above that rectangle layer that I did just a minute ago. I've got Helvetica selected as my text. I would recommend something similar. Make sure it is sans serif. Make sure it's not too bold and fat. Just so it kind of suits Shepard Fairey's style. There we go. This is me realising it was way too big and that it wouldn't actually fit on my whole image. So all I do is I just shrink it down a bit so it does fit. This is where I realised that I had the colour wrong and that it wasn't actually meant to be red. So I have at the end included the correct finished illustration.